yet. We're going to do a little bit of work together. So you guys can put your books down in front of you.
Okay, just leave it alone.
Okay? I will let you know when we're ready to start reading, okay? All right. Oh, you want to get the lights on, Stephen? So really quickly, the first thing I wanted to do, because we finally have the presidential results, we all know who won, right? So, we're not having a conversation. Nope. I just wanted to make sure you guys got to see if we predicted correctly or not. That's all we're doing, okay? So let's see, Miss Stuber, did they predict the presidential election? Can you believe that you guys totally predicted the winner? And if you can all see that you guys, 70%, it was like 30 students predicted that Biden would win. Wow. If you can believe it. So you guys are awesome predictors. You totally guessed it right. So I wanted to show you that because I thought that was amazing. All right, so now we're going to move into our story for this week. And today's, we're actually reading 2 stories this week. Okay? They're short stories. And the first one is called A Cinderella Named Zoe. And so can you guys guess what this story might be similar to? Shout out. Cinderella. So we're going to talk today about, well, we'll see. But first thing I just wanted to go over real quick, Ms. Stuber, is that this is another fantasy story. We've done a lot with fantasy stories. Remember, when we have a fantasy, it's not real. Right? It's made up. It could be in another planet. It could be in another world completely. Okay? And another thing that I want to keep in mind while we read the stories, and we've only talked a little bit, but about author's purpose. Why did the author write the story? Now, we talked a little bit about persuading. So if I went trick-or-treating with my sister, and we were trading candy, I might try to persuade her that she really doesn't need all those Reese cups and that maybe she wants to trade me for them, right? I might try to convince her. Inform, last week's story was an informational story. It was a biography. And it was informing us, telling us about somebody who lived in history, okay? And then there's our last one, which is entertainment. Are they just trying to tell us a story, something that we can enjoy? Okay, so as we read our stories this week, I want you guys, we'll visit this again. I want you to think about, why did the author write the story? Okay, so the big thing we're going to do, we said it's just like Cinderella, okay? So I can compare and contrast 2 stories. We're actually going to be doing 3. We're going to talk about 3. By telling how the characters, the setting, and the plot. Okay, and plot is where we're talking about beginning, middle, and end. We're talking about problem and solution this week, okay? And we want to look at how they're the same. So we know if they both have the word Cinderella in it, we're going to find some things that are the same. And we might also find some things that are different, okay? So you guys are going to help me today when we read our story to find these things that are the same and the things that are different, okay? Find a marker. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is the original story, Cinderella. Now, how many of you have never seen or read a Cinderella story? Never, ever, ever. Oh, so we do have quite a few. Okay. That's okay. It's an older story.
Was that supposed to help you?
Huh?
Was that supposed to help you?
Well, these are filled in. You want to help me when we do Zoe?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, I put in what we're going to be talking about this week. Who's our main character? I'm sure you guys can help me with this. Who's the main character in Cinderella? Shut up, Cinderella. So Ms. Stuber, if you click it, I already filled out the sticky note for Cinderella. Okay. Now for setting, where does the story take place? Does anybody want to give it a guess on where you would say the story takes place? You got your hand up first, buddy. That's okay. Abby. Oh, go ahead. In a what?
Castle.
In a castle? What were you going to say?
The same thing.
Oh, okay. And where is a castle? there's a word for it. We're not looking for forest. Let's try one more. A palace. Okay, so what I put was it's a kingdom, right? It's a fantasy kingdom. Doesn't really exist, but it happens at Cinderella's house, and it happens in the castle, the prince's castle. And so our story, my friends, for those who haven't ever seen a Cinderella story before, it's a young girl who has a really mean stepmother and 2 stepsisters. And I'm going off the Disney version because it's my favorite. Guys, listen, so that if you haven't heard it. And so they make her do all the chores. She can't have nice clothes. She doesn't get to do anything fun. She's always cleaning and doing chores. Okay? So the good, what we're going to talk about next, who are the good people who help Cinderella in this story? Who can help me with this? Evie.
In the movie, I heard that it was the fairy godmother and the animal.
Oh, so she already named both of them. She already gave you guys both of them. So she has 2 groups of people who help her. One is her fairy godmother. So she helps her a lot during the story. And then there are also animals that help her. They sew her a dress. So these are magical animals. Can animals really sew a dress? No.
Animals can't talk.
No. And yes, and they can't talk either. And then we said that the bad characters in this story were the evil stepmother, which we don't really... Oh, make sure you're muted, guys. Jade and Jessica, make sure you guys are muted. And also her stepsisters are pretty mean. So I put those are the bad guys of our story. And the next part of our story, the problem. So there's a big ball coming up. The prince has to pick a princess. He has to pick a bride. So they throw a huge ball and invite all of the women who are able to get married to this party, okay? And so she gets everything ready. She makes the animals make her a beautiful dress. And she's all ready to go. And then her family, the stepsisters, ruin her dress. They tear it apart. And so now she can't go to this ball anymore. So now she can't go. And the problem, Miss Stuber, if you want to click that for us, is that she can't go to the ball. So that's the big problem in our story that the character has to overcome. And who can tell me, how does Cinderella make it to the ball? Let me get help from a friend at home. Ooh, I've got so many. Callie, I saw you are super excited. Oh, you're super quiet. Hold on, let me...
I think it's her body.
Oh. Okay, so who else? I'm sorry, Callie, honey. It's super, Tashaya. What's our solution? How does she make it to the ball?
With the animals, make her a new dress.
And the help from who, guys? Who else helps? Fairy godmother. Thank you. So the solution is that the fairy godmother helps her, and at the very end, she marries the prince. Spoiler alert, I know. But so she makes it to the ball, and she gets to marry the prince because the fairy godmother and her animals help her. Okay? So here's what I want you guys to do as we read our story today. We're going to first talk about, click it once. Today we're going to talk about Zoe, and then tomorrow, you can just click it, Mr. Dustin.
Wait, I got victory?
Oh, who's talking? Guys, you gotta stay muted. Sean, stay muted, buddy.
Okay, I'll mute myself.
All right, so, and tomorrow we're gonna talk about another Cinderella. I'll have to move this over. And her name's Kwan. But today, while we read Zoe, I want you guys to be thinking in your head, and I want to be looking for this text connection. Remember this sign I had you guys learn? When you hear something that makes you think the same as Cinderella, I want you to make that sign. Okay? Because you're connecting the 2 stories. And then, if you hear something that's different, like, well, I won't spoil it for you, but there are some big differences. I want to see you thinking about it. I want to see that sign. Okay? So, first we're going to do vocab very quickly, just so you guys understand the words in our story. So, chore, I don't know, some kids don't have chores, some do. But a chore is a job you must do. So my son's chore is to take out the trash. Okay, and some parents will pay their kids for chores, some don't. It's different. Okay, so next, thrilled. When you are thrilled, you are very excited. So if you're going down the hill of a roller coaster, you might feel really thrilled as the excitement. Guys, Dominic. Okay. Next we have superb, and I love this word. Instead of saying something is good, you can say it's superb. Because something that is superb is the very best. So if your mom makes the best macaroni and cheese, you might tell her that it's superb, it's the best. And the celebration we had for my birthday was superb. Okay, we just got one more. Beamed. Okay? Someone who beamed gave a big smile. And I know that with the mask, sometimes you guys can't tell, but I give a lot of just very beaming smiles at you guys. Okay? And I just know you can't see them. Okay? Or Layla beamed when she read the funny story. All right. So now I want you to open your books. We're going to go to, I'm going to write it right here really fast, 189. Okay? So go ahead and turn to 189. And you're looking for if the shoe fits. Okay? Make sure everybody can see it. And for those of you who do not have the book at home, so I know a lot of my kids in the Scoobers room don't have it, I have it on the slides. And this week when you do your homework, I made sure all of your homework has a copy of the slides. So you will all, and it's in Google Classroom too, under the materials where we put all the books. All right. So, make sure everybody's there. Give me a thumbs up when you turn to 189. Elizabeth, you haven't even opened your book. Don't give me a thumbs up, silly. Okay, thumb up, thumb up. And if you don't have it, just wait for the slides, okay? Rodrigo, you got it? Okay. All right. Oh, and one very important detail I totally left out of the Cinderella story. Who could tell me what very special item the fairy godmother makes for Cinderella? The glass slippers. Okay, so Cinderella is wearing glass slippers, and during the story, she loses one. Okay, so who can tell me already what we notice is special about the cover of our story? What does it make you think of? Let's see. Sean, what does it make you think of? Sean, go ahead. Oh, you're muted, buddy. Gotta unmute.
That she's gonna get married like Cinderella and the prince.
Does shoes make you think about getting married?
What? If she look like they fit.
Interesting. So Sean had a very interesting prediction. What do you think, sweetie?
I think that reminds me of the glass slipper.
Right. So she says, well, if it's all about Cinderella stories, those are some pretty special looking shoes, just like Cinderella's glass slipper. Okay? So let's read and see what Zoe is all about. All right. Let me erase. So you guys at home, let me make sure everybody at home can see the board so you can see the pictures. I'm going to stand out of the way. All right. A Cinderella named Zoe. Once, not long ago, there was a girl named Zoe. She loved school, especially math, PE, and science. Her stepbrother Finn enjoyed playing tricks on Zoe. One day, their mother tried logging onto her laptop, but her password wasn't accepted. Finn, did you change my password? No, Mom. Try Zoe's password. It worked. Zoe, cried their mother, you know the rule. You can't use my computer without permission. Instead of going to Randall's party tomorrow, you'll do Finn's chore. and mow the lawn. But Mom, I didn't. Laughing, Finn went outside. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm making a connection between two characters in the story. What do you guys think?
Cinderella.
And who else? Who else are you making a connection, Evie?
Instead of Cinderella's step-sister, it's step-brother.
Right, so Evie made a connection between the stepbrother Finn and the wicked stepsisters in Cinderella. Good job. All right. Randall had invited all his friends to his birthday party. His mom was baking a delicious chocolate cake. He hoped Zoe would come. She was one of his best friends. The next day, Finn and their mom left for Randall's party. The doorbell rang. It was Zoe's favorite neighbor, Mrs. Fortuna. She always sparkled. Want to go to the party? How did you know? I have a few secrets, dear. But the lawn, began Zoe. Mrs. Fortuna pulled bright red garden shears from her bag. To Zoe's amazement, the shears flew out of Mrs. Fortuna's hands. The lawn was mowed in seconds. So I'm making another connection. Who else is making a connection here? Anybody else?
Yes.
Let me see it. Who's making a connection here? Gianna, what connection are you making? What characters? Unmute, sweetie.
I'm making a connection of the step-godmother.
The fairy godmother, right? So Gianna thinks of Mrs. Fortuna is just like Cinderella's fairy godmother. Who else made that connection? Who else? Did you guys make that? See, a lot of you, you're catching on. All right. And one more question I had about this page. What's one really important key here that tells us this is a fairy tale, that it's a fantasy? Something that can't happen in real life. So I can get somebody at home. Who can tell me why we know? Ryan. Ryan's saying that these are magical shears, right? We don't have scissors that'll cut the grass for us in real life. So that's how we know that this is a fantasy story. All right. Zoe was thrilled. She ran to get her favorite shoes, but Finn had hidden them. What will I wear? Mrs. Fortuna handed her a pair of golden tennis shoes. Zoe thought they were superb. On the way to Randall's house, one of Zoe's shoes came untied and tumbled onto the street. It was run over by a bus. Anybody making any connections on this page to Cinderella? Evie, what connection are you making?
In the movie, she accidentally lost her slipper, but in this story, it got ran over by a bus.
Right, so here we have interesting because they're kind of the same. They each lost a shoe, but they're very different shoes. Cinderella did not have sparkly gold tennis shoes. And hers got ran over by a bus where Cinderella just kind of ran and lost it. It fell off and she just kept running. Okay? All right. My shoe, yelled Zoe. Mrs. Fortuna consoled her. 2 shoes don't make wishes come true. Randall beamed when Zoe walked in. He invited her to sit next to him. Noticing her one shoe, he thought, this is something new. Then he said, cool, everyone take off one shoe just like Zoe. It was time to cut the cake. The candles were lit, and before Randall blew them out, Zoe smiled. One of her wishes had come true. What do you think Zoe's wish was that came true? Let's see, let's get a friend in here.
That she could go to the party.
Right, that she could go to the party. So her wish came true at the end of the story. So you guys did a really great job with that. So now what I want to do is we're going to fill in together our chart, our little sticky note chart for Zoe. You guys are going to help me. So I want you to get your whiteboards because we're going to go through and I want you to help me answer these questions, okay? And this will tell me who listened really closely, okay? So get your whiteboards and your markers ready. Okay, got them? All right, so everybody write down, and this is pretty easy. Who is our main character in the story? Write it down, write it down. And if you don't have your book, I don't know, you can see it right here. And we're not checking spelling, so I just want to see that you were paying attention, okay? So chin your board is when you got it. It should only take 2 seconds to write the name down. Good job, good job. Good job. Good job, Abby, good job. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay, let me see it, let me see it. Oh. John, were you the main character? He wrote his name. John, who's our main character? What was her name?
Zoe.
Yep. But that wasn't John who answered. Don't just answer, buddy. You gotta, I was trying to ask somebody else. All right, so you guys got it. Our main character is Zoe. I'll do it, Miss Stewart.
Okay.
Miss Turners, did you want to come or are you?
Deep into this email, I've checked.
You're good. You're good. All right, and our setting. Now, setting's a little hard. I will make you guys write this one. But who can tell me what the setting of our story was?
The house.
Okay, so the
The
house.
house and the party.
And I don't know if you guys can look on. If you look at the cover of the story, what do you notice about the buildings? What does that kind of tell us?
A city.
I see a whole lot of buildings, which tells me it's not the country. It's more like city, right? So this takes place in a city. And it kind of looks like an American city. I'm going to put America in parentheses because it can also be a lot of places. But the way the cars were driving, I think it's America because they were driving on the right side of the road. Okay? Now, this one might be tricky, but I want to see if you can remember who is our character who helped Zoe out in the story. Let's see if you can write it down. Spelling doesn't matter, guys. And if you just need to write who she was, if you don't remember her name. Okay? Very good. So if you don't remember her name, you can remember who she was, right? Where did she live? Kind of close. Oh, who's talking? Layla, what you need, sweetie? Oh, is it with the Y? That was Miss Rubio's bad. There we go. Thank you. Oh, I see lots of good jobs on this one. And people just wrote however they could. So I see most people wrote neighbor, which is perfect. Or Fortuna, right? Or somebody put like her fairy godmother because if you're not looking at the story right in front of you, you might not be able to find it. When you guys do this on your own, oh, are you just going to type it in?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So the answer for this would be Mrs. Fortuna, which is her neighbor. Okay, so great job on that one. All right, now who was our bad guy in this story? Write it down. I want to see everybody's answer because this tells me how much you remember. Who is our bad guy? And if you don't know his name, you can write who he was. Okay, just like I wrote stepmother and stepsisters. That's a big hint, hint. Okay? Oh my gosh, most of you remembered his name. Good job. Or you looked in the story to find his name. Good job, good job. All right, my friends at home, let me see it. Good Good job, Ryan. Good job, Jessica. Good job, Ianthe. Michael, what do you need, sweetie? Oh, you want to give me the answer? Okay, let me just check a couple more. Okay, what was it, Michael? Finn, who was her stepbrother. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You guys are doing awesome at this. Good job. All right, so now we just have two more. The problem, and I'm just going to have you guys tell me this, okay? What was the problem in our story? I want everybody to think about it. I should see every hand up. What was the problem in our story? Think about it. Okay, think about it. Miss Stuber's class, I have nobody with their hands up. What's the problem in our story? Everybody in here, almost everybody has their hand up. Henley, what was the problem in our story? What, sweetie? I know you didn't. That's why I called on you.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, Layla. Okay, hold on. Who said me? Oh. All right, so the problem is that Zoe can't go to the party. And why can't she go to the party? Evie.
Because her mother thinks that she took her computer and she has to mow the lawn.
Right, so because she has a chore to do, okay? Zoe can't go to the party because she has chores. And what was the solution? Who helped her? What happened that resolved the problem, that made it so she could go? Yeah.
Her neighbor Fortuna came and put the magical and used the magical scissors to cut the grass.
Yes, so her neighbor, Mrs. Fortuna, used magic to help her go to the party. And you could just, yeah, and I shrunk the text when I did it. Okay? So that is our first story, okay? And tomorrow, you guys, we're going to read about Kwan together. And you guys will actually be doing this on your own tomorrow. So I'm really glad you guys did a great job with this. So for homework tonight, you have Spot and Dot, okay? It's in Google Classroom. Okay? Well, I know Miss Turnage's kids, it's not for you guys. Not for you guys. But for the rest of you, you'll have your it's 8 words. Okay? And I made sure the story and the vocabulary slides are in with your homework so you guys can go back and look at them. Okay? And that is all that I have for you today. So good luck. You guys did an awesome, awesome job today. I'm super impressed with you. Okay? All right. And now get ready for math. So put your reading books away. Close your reading book, put it down, put it away, and get your whiteboards ready for math.